Hi, how's it going, friends? I'm Darkoburi, the collector, and today, Attack on Titan. For today's unboxing, we're gonna have this Figma figure from Attack on Titan. If you notice, in my collection, I have quite a few figures from this series, which you had already told me to unbox. So, here we are. We're going to do this double unboxing of the two main characters from Attack on Titan, not to mention a few others who appear in the series. But I also want to proudly share with you that our online store is now available with a variety of items. Here's an example of the thermos, so you can check it out and make sure you don't miss out on your Darkoburi thermos. If you want, I can also send it to you autographed. So order it, let us know if you want it autographed, and we'll send it to you wherever you are. You already know the online store is on Facebook and Instagram. So to celebrate the launch of our online store, we're gonna do this double unboxing of Attack on Titan. For today's double unboxing, we're gonna open Eren's figure first, and then Mikasa's figure. If you notice, there are two siblings who, in the first season, lose their mother and become part of the Survey Corps. The regiment that goes out searching for Titans beyond the three walls that surround the city. There was a breach in the city, and there are titans of different sizes, shapes, and every color imaginable. So let's do this unboxing and talk a little about this series, which honestly I have really enjoyed. So let's set Mikasa aside for a moment and talk here about the main character and the box. I want to remind you that these figures are from Figma. So here we have Eren with the number 207 in this Figma series. Honestly, I don't know how they number the figures here in Figma, because here Eren Yeager is number 207. Let's talk a little about the other figures. Here we have Armin. If you notice, here they tell us what the serial number is, EX17. The numbering has been completely lost now, and on the back you can see the different face changes the character can have. If you notice, with Eren here, he also has his different expressions, but the numbering doesn't follow any sequence. Here we have Captain Levi, who also comes with the different forms and expressions he can have, and he is number 213. Over here, on this side, we have Mikasa, and we're also going to take a closer look at her box in a bit, her variations, and Mikasa is number 203. And finally, here we have one of the most powerful captains, who is number 446 in this series. And if you notice, it's already bigger because it comes with an additional item, which is the horse. Remember that these scout troops ride on their horses. They have them well trained. They jump using the gas-powered boosters with hooks, and then they start attacking the Titans. So now that we've seen that the series don't match up, I would think that if we're going to make a series, I'd put Eren first and then add all the other secondary and tertiary characters afterwards. But anyway, in this case, Mikasa is undoubtedly stronger than Eren in battle was put first, and Eren is number 207. And here you can see the Attack on Titan logo. I love the expression because the Attack on Titan logo is stained with blood, right? I mean, this is a future where humanity is on the verge of being wiped out by these human-eating creatures, the Titans. So, these people, I used to say, it's been 100 years since the walls were built, but in 100 years, people have already forgotten their own history. I mean, why? If the average lifespan of a person is 60, 70, 80 years, only 2 generations have passed and they've already forgotten their history. But if you consider that everyone who joined these regiments went out to face the Titans at the age of 20, 30, or 40, they were already dead. So they reproduced a lot. Why? Because they died very often. So without further delay, let's do the unboxing of this excellent figure and chat a bit. Maybe give a few more spoilers about Attack on Titan. If you've already seen it, leave a comment about which part you like the most, which fight was the most emotional for you. For me, the part I like most about Attack on Titan is the intro of the second season. Which one is the best? For me, there's no better one than that. So let's go ahead and unbox this little figure. If you notice, the boxes here come completely wrapped in plastic, and we're gonna take out our Eren Yeager figure, who, as I mentioned, is one of the main characters. And as you progress through the series, you start to see why he's the main character. I don't like giving too many spoilers, but sometimes I get so excited telling the story that they just slip out, honestly. So I apologize if you don't want to hear so many spoilers. Let me know in the comments. I know people have told me that many times, but I can't help it, honestly. So let's take the figure out. Here's Yeager. Here's Eren Yeager. And as I mentioned, it comes with interchangeable faces and the gear used by everyone in the police and the scouts. But the main thing which my character will definitely wear is this cape. So I'm going to take out all the accessories to show them to you one by one, and this time up close. Once you've taken out all the items that come with your figure, we'll start the analysis. Here is our character Eren. As I mentioned, he's one of the main characters. We can see him in the first season. Why is that? Because he has a curse that allows him to transform into a Titan. Up to this point, no one knows the origin of the Titans. They only know that they are outside of what are the walls. And there was an armored Titan who was the one that destroyed the wall. So an invasion begins. And that's when everything falls apart. Our character Eren, as you can see here, is wearing the uniform of those who start patrolling outside the walls. They begin searching to see if there are Titans or not. And if there are, they start sending up flares to signal how close they are and from which flank the Titans are emerging. So here our piece first of all comes with this neck protector for the paint. You simply remove the character's head, and that's what this part of the cape is for. As you can see, you just put on the cape and then reattach the head. Here our characters have the wings, which is the typical emblem for everyone inside the walls. There's the emblem that they are part of, and they always salute with their hand over their heart and the other hand behind their back. This means they will give their whole heart, of course, and they will fight against the Titans. So here is our character. Why do they join these troops? Because the Titan came for their mother, and he had really big teeth. The Titan arrives, eats her right in front of them, and there was a friend who was really drunk, who was a soldier, but they couldn't save her, and the Titan eats the mother. She tells him never to leave Mikasa alone. So that's why he always stays with Mikasa, and Mikasa is always saving Eren, since people are always trying to kidnap, take, or kill him. So if you notice here, he's wearing the uniform of the group he belongs to. It's a fully articulated figure. Remember that Banpresto figures are usually fixed, while Figma figures are usually articulated. And right now, as I was unboxing this new figure, there are two surprises. If you haven't opened a figure in quite a while, you notice that now the hands come in this container. Before, they used to come attached, like the Saint Seiya figures. If you remember, they were just embedded in the plastic. Now they come with this container where you can store the hands, and it also includes this extra piece. In case you break the hand part when trying to insert it, there's a spare part included. The other cool thing is that it comes with this this Ziploc style bag, so you can store the pieces you're not using. For example, you can only put one face on your character at a time. I used to say, so what am I supposed to do with the other two? I can't just throw them in the trash, and I don't want them to get ruined. Why? Because otherwise your figure will be left with only one expression and set up in just one scene. Now, thanks to Figma, let's give a thumbs up to Figma, because they included this bag where we can store our pieces. I used to keep them in a special bag. So now, Figma, thank you. So here is our figure. On the back, it has some holes to start attaching the accessories, which we'll talk about in a moment. And as I mentioned, it's fully articulated. If we do a close-up on the face here, we'll see Eren's expression is perfectly clear, especially the eyes. If you look at each of the faces, Eren's face is perfectly clear, which is what I like. They've added more and more definition to the faces and the eyes each time. The color of the eyes looks absolutely perfect. This is an accessory that they use, those who are part of the different corps. As I mentioned, they are a scout reconnaissance troop, and they have this device that is mounted at the waist. That's why our hero has an opening here at the lower part of his back. Why? Because these down here are tanks. And what can these tanks launch? They can launch these arrows at high speed, or they can launch, here we have an extra rope. They can launch hooks to swing between trees, buildings, or even between the Titans themselves. For what purpose? To kill them. If you look closely, here he carries the spare blades, which leaves the blades of the swords. What kind of technology do they have? Because this, if you notice, use the same concept as the X-Acto knives. The edge gets dull after cutting the Titans, so they just break off the top part and the next blade is sharp again. Sometimes they go in, attack directly, and the whole blade breaks. So what happens then? Here with the weapon, they simply insert it again, slide it in, and a completely new blade comes out, totally new and ready to attack. Let's remember that there are variations among all the Titans. Just like the Kale 13 song says, there are big ones, medium ones, small ones. There's a whole different world, a huge universe. There are tiny titans, tiny for titans, that are no more than 2 or 3 meters tall, and there are even beast titans. So this other accessory comes with this to simulate when the gas is released, when they shoot out that whole little cloud of air. And as I mentioned, we have the cape, and finally the base to set up our character. So here is Yeager. Let's put all the other pieces on him and see how our Attack on Titan figure turns out. And now, after half an hour of assembly, here is the Eren figure with all the accessories finally put on. Remember that in the series they use these gas tanks, which are for launching these devices that can hook onto trees, buildings, or even the titans themselves. So what do they do with them? They use the blades to cut the titans. The downside is that the titan gradually regenerates, so they have to kill it in a brutal, drastic, and precise way so that the titan can't regenerate anymore. So what happens then? They start swinging around and they can cut the titan's heels or any other muscle so it can't move forward. They even go for the eyes to take away its field of vision, but they only have a couple of minutes. For what purpose? To be able to kill it. And where do they deliver the critical blow? On the back of the neck, right here, to sever the entire nervous system so the titan can no longer regenerate. They cut it, the titan falls, and it starts to disintegrate. So only the bones are left. That means our heroes have defeated that titan, but the titans attack in hordes, so they have to keep making precise strikes. For what purpose? So that the titan can't recover anymore, and they can't take any time to rest its on to the next one, and the next, and the next. And now, the most interesting thing about the piece, first of all, is its base. The base already comes with the Figma name on it. Remember, you can buy bases elsewhere to display your figures, but this one actually comes with a Figma name. The back part of the figure, if you look closely, is inserted where it goes on the back, but you have to put it over the cape, and then the cape doesn't move anymore. The base becomes embedded with the cape and then with the character's back. It comes with this effect, as I mentioned, of smoke for when they are propelled toward any object they're swinging from. That's why I decided to put these devices on Eren. Why? Because he's swinging, you can position his feet. If you notice, the base is very sturdy. He's swinging forward and is fully intent on what? On grabbing a titan and now taking it down for good. There are some scenes, parts of the animation in the cartoon itself, in the anime which is on Crunchyroll. I totally recommend it where they spin incredibly fast. Why? To make a precise cut at the back and say goodbye, Titan. So here is our hero, Yeager, Eren Yeager. Here are obviously the accessories. They carry their gas tank, extra blades, swords, and different hands. I put my hands on him so he could grab the swords. And here you can even attach some hooks. What for? So you can leave your figure hanging if you have a stand for it to hold on to. It comes with this in case you don't want to use the base for your Eren. What for? So you can easily cover up the little hole on his back and also the part where the engine was located. So if you don't want to put the little cloud there, you can just leave it covered or simply keep it hidden, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna put all of this away now. Now I get to enjoy my Figma bag to store all the pieces, and here I can label it to show that it belongs to my Eren. So here with the marker I write Eren and then I store the piece. And I'll know that this face because the face itself doesn't really tell me anything. Now imagine trying to read the hand to see whose it is. That wouldn't tell me anything either. So that's another high five for Figma for letting me put Eren Yeager's name here. And let's say here is our first piece, and I'll leave it here so you can see the figure up close. We're already recording. I was having coffee here in my excellent Darkoburi mug. If you want one, you can find it in our online store. Don't forget to check it out. It's on Facebook and Instagram. Pour yourself a good cup of coffee to enjoy the awesome unboxings we do on this channel. And let me remind you that I do read all the comments you leave me. From now on, I'm gonna start reading the shoutouts you send me. Send me your greetings like, hey Darkoburi, give me a shout out in your video and I'll do it. We also listen to your requests. You've asked me so many times for Attack on Titan and I always said yes. Unfortunately, I hadn't been able to do it yet, But I hope you love this double unboxing of Attack on Titan. And as you can see, there are a ton of figures. Let me know in the comments if you want us to do an unboxing of those figures too. And of course, we'll do it. There are also some really awesome unboxings coming up. I don't know if you've seen, but lately there have been some spectacular pre-orders from First 4 figures, like a Samus Aran. As soon as it arrives, we'll do it. There was also another one from Prime 1 Studio. They released Resident Evil 2 figures of Claire Redfield and it must be of Leon S. Kennedy. It's gonna be a double unboxing because I pre-ordered both. Prime 1 Studio also released the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and we'll have that on this channel too. But I can't promise you when those will be here. Why? Because it depends on the release date of the pre-order, then it has to go through shipping, through customs and all that. So stay tuned for it. If you want any other unboxing, leave a comment and we'll gladly schedule it. So we're now gonna remove everything that's inside our room. On this side, we're gonna start taking out Mikasa's accessories. It's not gonna differ much from the figure of the character itself. Here, if you look, the faces and some effects that are part of the accessory being launched are well protected. And here, as you can see, there's the little bag again. I also forgot to mention earlier that it comes with this instruction manual. It's just that the figures now are really comfortable to handle and use with ease and comfort, and they're actually specifically designed to be ergonomic, so it's actually pretty easy and straightforward to know exactly where each piece goes. Here's the cape again, just to show you once more, in case you missed it earlier. We're going to take out the air effect here, and here are the 2 spears, which are the specific weapons that the main protagonist of our story actually used to swing around dynamically and energetically throughout the scene. And finally, on this side, these are the 2 swords that our scouts carry, 1 in each hand. And now I'm going to arrange everything to start assembling the figure in this double unboxing of Attack on Titan. Once again, we have the same uniform. If you look closely, it has the wings here on the back. We also have it on the arm, on the chest, and of course on the other arm. It's the same with Mikasa. You have to remove her head a little to take off the plastic she comes with. And we take the opportunity at that moment to change the face, whether you want a serious expression or an attack expression. Here, I gave my Eren an attack expression, and just now, something symbolic of Mikasa fell off. It's a gift that our hero Eren gives to his sister, and she wears it. It's a scarf. She always wears the scarf, but sometimes she loses it, and then it gets returned to her. So Mikasa is a very serious, very strong character who helps Eren a lot in all the fights when he was little. When Eren was younger, still a child, Mikasa would always show up, land some incredible combos, some punches, and help him out. But what about Eren? Eren was the kind of guy who never let himself be defeated. Even if he was about to get completely beaten up, he would show up, fight, try his best, and then Mikasa would come in and end up defending him. So here is Mikasa again, and she still has the openings on her back and lower back. If you look closely, the accessory is actually the uniform they wear as scouts. Here she already has her skirt. Here she has the harnesses on her legs and the boots, obviously so she can swing around comfortably. We also saw that this part here, the tanks, when you put them on, they're articulated. This part here is articulated so it can move up and down. Why? Because if you stand the figure up, you can just have it like this, waving, like when they're receiving orders. Or like I left Eren, swinging when you spread the legs. The tanks are also flexible and move. Here we have the holes, you can't really see them, but here on the leg are the holes where things get attached. And remember that you can put the cape on or leave it off, and over it you put, here it is, the base accessory. And as I mentioned, the most extraordinary thing about this base is this. It says Figma here and has the name right here. If you look down here, you can buy other bases to use with them. On another day, we've shown you some other characters that are mounted. And once you've finished assembling the figure, I put another one on it. Just like I said, just like with my Eren. Why? So that it looks like a battle scene, just like we had with the other figures, Zero figures, which are iconic battle scenes. Now, Mikasa and Eren are fighting against a Titan. Maybe later we'll buy a Titan to create the Attack on Titan diorama. And here is where our Mikasa is also fully assembled. If you look closely, they have the same features. They have the extra blades, the attachments that come on the gas tanks on this side, which, as I mentioned, are also articulated only upwards in case you want to move the legs. The legs, the feet, the hands, the arms, everything is articulated. Even the head, which I had to remove, as I mentioned, you can take off the hair, change the facial expression, put it back on, and there you have our hero. The only thing that can no longer be moved because it's embedded in the base is the cape. So the cape of both heroes remains completely fixed. Here, Mikasa has an additional accessory that Eren doesn't have, the classic scarf. If you watch the series and you're a fan, you know exactly when she receives it. Here are also the swords, as I mentioned before. The swords come with these attachments. Why? If they manage to strike, or if the swords are knocked out of their hands, or even like what happened to our Captain Erwin here, where his hand gets eaten, then the sword ends up hanging, but it isn't lost, so they can keep fighting. What's important here are the blades, the knives, and obviously the gas tank, so they can keep propelling themselves forward. So here I'll leave you with Mikasa in a really cool close-up, so you can take a good look at her and tell me what you think. And now that I finished assembling them, I put all the leftover pieces in these little bags. If you notice, I didn't label them. And you might say, Darkoburi, how are we going to tell which one is Mikasa's and which one is Eren's? By the color of the eyes on the piece. If you notice, the bag for Figma is really practical here, which, as I've mentioned, doesn't come with SH figures. So I thought this was a great detail, especially since I have quite a few Figma figures. If you look over here, I have Captain Levi, here's Erwin, and here's one of the comrades who has always been by Eren and Mikasa's side as well. So here you have it, fans of Darkoburi, with this double Attack on Titan unboxing. And remember to visit the online store, both on Instagram and on Facebook. Let me remind you that we're also on all social media platforms. On YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, Facebook, we're registered on Medium, we're everywhere. If you'd like us to do an unboxing of another figure, some people have suggested I do others from DC, from Batman, maybe from Marvel. I also have a special Goku that just came out for Comic-Con, which I received from Bandai. So we'll be doing an unboxing soon of those special pieces that you can only find at Comic-Con. So give it a like, turn on the notification bell, sharing these videos really helps us out so they can reach more and more people. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and follow us on all of our social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or any others you might use. If you're missing even one, please take a moment to find us there, give us a like, and don't forget to share our content with your friends and family. The support really helps us grow and reach more people. As always, thank you so much for being part of our community, and you know what it is, Darkoburi. Peace out.